plus-sized women admit they aren't attracted to overweight men. And it was on Reddit, and it hit the front page, and everyone's, this is outrageous. And I was like, oh, let me look into this study that they're quoting. And the study, it was an actual news article that quoted 8 Tumblr posts. That was their source. So you know those Tumblr posts, it's an image and then it's a thing?
Who is the article? Who wrote the headline?
Well, there was like 6 of them. It kind of made the round. So I don't know who started it, but
it's probably yeah.
It wasn't CNN,
finish your point. Finish your point.
But it made the rounds. It made Reddit front page, right? And it was because 8 women in the world of 7 billion had made these anonymous imagery posts with the text of like, I'm a chubby woman, but I don't like chubby men. I'm ashamed to admit it, but it's true. Or like, just because you're overweight doesn't mean you have to like overweight people. Like I don't, and I get upset when people set me up. And so first of all, it's just amazing that you could have on the internet these multiple articles with that headline based on 8 anonymous posts. But the reason it's in a transition to what we're talking about, the comment section was then a bunch of people being like, I am an overweight woman and I would bang the shit out of an overweight guy. I don't know what they're talking about. Just over and over, like, chubby girl here, down for chubby guy. Just hundreds of them, you know what I mean? So this article had 8 sources. Their comment section had hundreds or thousands of them.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was great because it does come to the thing of you could be a guy and see that article and be so disheartened of like, oh, nobody wants me. And that's just not true.
Yeah.
Then there was chubby guys talking about how they like chubby girls, chubby women talking about how they like chubby, skinny people saying they like chubby. Just the section was just all these people raising their hands saying, I'm down for...
I just want to get weird with somebody.
Yeah, I'm down to get weird. And it was great. And it ties into what we're just talking about really well, I think, which is that, yeah, this is just the opinion of 8 women.
Even if it weren't, I mean, there's a couple of things. I did see this. So the one complaint was that, at least in the title, and who knows if it was written by any
plus-sized women and overweight men.
The women were labeled plus size and the men were labeled overweight.
Yes.
So that's one potentially reasonable complaint. But also, if it's coming from...
Just one person wrote it, though, and it's clickbait. It's just meant to inflame you. It's meant to get to the front page of Reddit.
Exactly. And the other thing is, also, who cares? Like, people, I think, need to be able to discriminate completely who they are attracted to and justify to no one. Now, if whatever you are makes you have a pool of no one else who you're interested that is reciprocating your interest, fine, that's your own problem. But assume that every woman in America that was in a certain group was uninterested in every man in a certain group. Yeah. That is absolutely their prerogative.
Sure, and that's what a lot of these, well, I don't know, but some of the 8 posts, that's what they were saying. They're saying,
and when I say discrimination, I have to say that I'm not talking about job discrimination. I'm not talking about racial slurs. I'm talking about who you want to get naked with.
Yeah. So one of the posts I know said, you know, I'm an overweight woman and I'm not attracted to overweight men, and that's why I sleep with no one. And she was basically saying, no one I'm attracted to is attracted to me. And it's like, okay, well, you have 2 options. You can try to change who you're attracted to. You can keep searching for what you're doing, or you can be single and not have sex, which is totally like that's your call. And she opted for the not having sex thing. Okay, people are allowed to have sex or not have sex or do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to put it into another episode of don't trust what you read on the internet, because it was hilarious how quickly people were just like, this isn't true.
Well, even I think most people who go to Reddit understand this is just headlines, and the most inflamed reaction to the headline is the top comment. Or sometimes it's the funniest that'll meme.
Often the funniest.
Yeah.
But I actually disagree. I think people do see that stuff on the internet and get disheartened because they do think it's based on... Because what I read didn't quote the Tumblr thing. What I read quoted another article that quoted another article. It was only through clicking through links that I eventually got to my source.
Yeah.
Which was hilariously non-existent. But I think people do read things and then think that they're true.
Sure. Well, I mentioned this. I watched a video by a YouTuber called ContraPoints. Really interesting setup. It's a male to female transgender YouTuber who I believe had a PhD, I don't know in what, and makes pretty sophisticated videos, 20 to 30 plus minutes on these sorts of topics. And one of the topics was on incels, but it dives into the psychological reason that people believe this stuff, that people are more prone, or many of us are more prone to believe that the worst case scenario is true, such as I'll never find love, nobody likes me, which is rife on these incel message boards, as opposed to
paying attention to all the people commenting saying, oh, I'm in. Yeah. That information might go in one ear and out the other.
Exactly.
Oh, they don't mean it.
And I think this is very common. And talking about how on the internet, it's almost a form of self-harm to, for instance, go to r-roast me and post your photo and say, do your worst, and to read the worst things that you possibly could about yourself.
You're saying it's like the same reason people will do cutting.
Because you get a rush out of the pain. Yeah, or at least that's what this person was suggesting. As someone who, they say, I used to do this. I used to go to these trans message boards as I was transitioning, post photos of myself, knowing that the culture on these message boards would say, you couldn't pass in a million years, you're too tall, your bones are shaped like this, you've got man hands, like whatever it is. And I knew that's what was going to come back, and I kept doing it.
Yeah.
And it's because the suggestion that they wind up giving is that some part of you knows that to be true deep down.
Of course, yeah.
Like,
We all
suspects
have
it, and you just need to hear it echoed in the world so that it's, that's true. It's not this deep seed inside of me that feels unlovable. It's everyone else has told me that.
I'm not insecure because I'm crazy. I'm insecure because I should be.
Yes. And weirdly enough, what it does is add support to the completely unsupported notion that you're not worthy of love, which comes from within. Which I thought was really interesting, and perhaps the only way to unwind that is then through tons of therapy or psychedelics or something like that. But step one, this person suggests, is like, you just got to shut this stuff down. You cannot, you in the same way that an addict continues to abuse alcohol, even though it destroys their life, you just have to cold turkey these types of activities.
You're
websites.
an incel.
Yeah.
Stop going to our incel.
Yeah. And you still may remain celibate, but at least you won't be getting that messaging that this is forever and ever, and the only way to be happy is to break this unendable cycle. So it's interesting. I'm going to watch more videos because I think they do a very good job on it. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.